Hello, greetings. My master used to always tell, don't apply too much of logic. Go into the creative brain and avoid being too logical. I used to not understand. It took me a lot of years to actually understand what he was trying to say. Actually, it's a very simple thing to understand. Use your right brain often and not your left, because logic is too much of thinking, too much of analysis, too much of criticalness, and you lose out everything. A lot of time went in even understanding what this thing about, but now when a lot of things are happening around the world and a lot of the people are getting more heart based than the mind based, I'm getting to understand what he was actually trying to mean. So there were times when Baba yelled at me, use your heart, stop using your mind. So I used to never understand that time also. I used to always think, अरे ये काम करने के लिए, or to do this, you have to think. And there is so much to think, and everything comes from the mind and from the brains. How am I going to do without thinking? But hardly did I know that he was all the time operating from, he is rather all the time operating from his heart, not the mind. He never works with his mind. And it took a lot of time for me to even coordinate with this and understand how it works. Today, when the whole humanity is moving towards a different perspective, you can see a lot of people are awakening to this fact that heart is everything, love is everything, and a lot of kindness, a lot of compassion, a lot of sympathy, a lot of understanding, a lot of eagerness to mutually help each other grow, hold each other's hand in time of distress, in all the times. You can see it happening all over the world. That is heart-based. There is no mind when something is happening, when a disaster happens. There is no much less of thinking. People just jump in. There have been so many cases where some tragic incident happened and people who could not walk jumped to their feet and rushed out to help people out. Real tragic incidences. That shows how the heart works and the power of heart. So I was reading something just now, and my mind went towards his words. I was feeling very appreciative and a lot of gratitude for his teachings, because we don't understand his teachings very simply, because it looks like a pravachan. Whenever you hear a discourse, it looks more like a pravachan. There also the fun thing is that the mind catches it, because if the mind is listening, you will know. When the mind is listening, what will happen is it will be very appreciative. It will say, oh, he's got a point there. Oh, this is valid. Oh, he's talking wonderful. And he's so intelligent. There's so much of wisdom in what he talks. There's so much of understanding. I'm understanding what he's trying to say. And this is a mind operation. Because even your appreciation is coming from the mind. The analytical mind is doing everything there. But if it is heart-based, you'll just listen. You'll just feel. There will be a smile on your face. Or whatever. And you leave in peace. That is heart-based. Most of Baba's teaching is heart-based. We don't realize it, but if you look at it, because it's a split second difference, in the perspective of the mind and heart, it doesn't take much time to just switch over from here and there. You see, because there are so many times when I'm doing things from the mind and it's so clogged and so confusing and so distressed, and you don't know what to do, and then you think of your guru and say, oh, what's this happening? And suddenly, this voice is to echo, shut down your mind and think from your heart. The moment you do that, what happens is the mind is rushing, and suddenly when this thought comes, you just switch over from there to here, and suddenly the whole scenario changes, the whole perspective changes, the whole perception changes. That's how powerful it is. I mean, it takes so much of time to get into this. That's the reason it didn't get into, because it was it was trying to be put in here. It was trying to be analytical from here. I was trying to understand it, and most of us do this. We try to understand what higher consciousness does. He is nothing but higher consciousness. Guru is nothing but the higher consciousness. So there, the judgments come from there. The confusions come from there. When you're looking at a person, when you're analyzing what he's doing, what he's saying, the problems happen from there. But if it is coming from here, if you're just connected, and that's it. Even if you do not listen also, you'll just get the vibes in there. So everything literally, the master used to say, do it from the heart. And there were so many times I was stuck. I used to keep wondering, now what? Even at work. And then one message would come, open your heart. And I used to think, what is this? I should not understand what perspective. And he is not a person who will sit and talk to you for a lengthy discussion and tell you exactly what to do, or hold your finger and do it. It will be just in brief. Even his yelling or his shout or his words or his message, all in small thing. And them, that's the biggest thing. That's so simple. I mean to say, for a huge problem, we search for a huge solution. We think as big the problem, that much big must be the solution. So that much mind work has to be done, or that much hard work has to be done, and so much we have to struggle because the problem is huge. And then one word comes in there. And you see, the whole solution lies in that. Now, I'm not saying if there is a big problem, you think by your heart and the problem will get solved. But the perspective will change. The perception will change. And the moment the perception changes, there are 1,000 reasons why you should get 1,000 different solutions. Then the people, when you think from your mind, you're stuck in so many things. But when you think from your heart, solutions will just appear. It has not appeared because of anything else. It has just appeared because your consciousness has shifted. So the new world that I often put in my Instagram posts and all, it's heading towards that. It's a vibration of feeling, emotion, and heart-based. The fifth dimension especially. Third dimension, you say it has got the dimensions of it has got its own limitations with its physicalities. And the fourth dimension is again, it has got its limitations to even time. There's a limitation of time again in the fourth dimension, but in the fifth dimension, beyond all the limitations. And there it is all heart-based. Everybody, even if you read about or try to understand about the higher dimensions like Shambhala, Shangri-La, or whatever you call it, those places do exist, like Baba explains in a few of his shivers, and in the Yoga of Immortals also, how he has been to those places and how he has visited and how they do exist, the higher realms. Now they are not in perception, because now I'm not saying I've been there. Okay, I'm not making any claims, but I do know. Okay, that knowing also comes from here. And so there are so many incidences that the master talks about, and this is all from that realm. And we are actually, the planet is heading towards that realm where the consciousness is becoming more of the fifth dimensional consciousness, and fifth dimensional consciousness is just vibes of your heart. From your mind, it's all shifting down here. That is why we talk about unconditional love and all these what you call fantasy kind of thought. They are not fantasies. They might look like dreams, because I remember in my childhood I used to write these poems. So many poems I used to write. So many dreams I used to get of this kind of a world. And then the world around me used to laugh at me and say, good fantasy. It was a fantasy for them because they cannot see that as a reality. they fail to see that as a reality because they don't understand it, first of all, because it's all mind based. You can't even go near it. Okay, so as a kid, these things used to very spontaneously. Today, when I read those things and when I recollect those things, I can see a very strong connection in what's really happening. Those kind of worlds exist because I've got friends all around the world for the past 15-20 years that I've been in spirituality. All the people in Reiki and light workers and people like that doing wonderful jobs in their own paths, in their own field, because I don't want to discriminate any one of them. All of them, all the paths, all the people are doing fabulously good. They are doing the groundwork. They are helping and assisting humanity in building up that kind of consciousness. So they are all doing it. And all these people I see today, because I'm connected to their posts and connected to them for as long as even 20 years, they all speak the same language. Now, this was not planned. What I'm right now talking about, the love and the heart-based thing and all those things, or my old poems which I used to get in my mind, they're all talking the same thing and they have the same kind of expressions. They're talking about a world where animals and people of all kind, they live together. Different species living together, which is unimaginable in today's world. Of course not, it will never happen in the 3D world, the third dimension, but we are talking about a higher dimension. And this higher dimension, people push me aside if I talk to them also because they don't understand. Looking at the plight of the planet, they feel that it can never happen. It looks that way, it looks very gloomy. But again, I am not talking here about, or the spiritual guys are not talking here about an earth where we have the same kind of geographical fields as we live on today and everything changing overnight or in a couple of years and all the things, wars and everything going out for a toss and everybody is living in peace. I am not talking about that. I do not know. Who are we to even talk about these things when we do not know? But vibrationally, I'm telling you, this is happening very much, and it is, in my experience, that is why I speak. It is happening because people are more aware and conscious right now, and people are talking from their hearts. They've become more gentle. They are having more of love, and this is exactly and precisely what the master used to talk about and not understand. See how difficult it is, because it was easy for him to say that because he was living from that dimension and talking from that space. So it was very spontaneous and natural. But if we are not in that kind of a space, and if we are too much materialistic and too much, too grounded and too gross, you cannot understand it. There's a big difference, though the teachings are very simple. So all the higher masters are just talking about this. Christ always, all his life was heart-based. And this, my master taught me. My master taught me the greatness of Christ, of Jesus Christ, how he lived, how he performed miracles, because that was again very spontaneous. He did things from the heart. And he used to always tell me like that, be like that. That is from where the unconditional. So if you look at even Jesus Christ picture, you will always find heart in that. You look at any picture of Jesus Christ, there will be a heart, a sacred heart here, and there is a glow lit up here. Baba used to even do some meditations on that. And he has done it in a couple of shivers. Heart-based meditations. It's the Christ meditations. And it's so powerful. So powerful. Even right now I'm speaking from the heart. I don't know if I keep down this video and go and I even have to watch some TV or talk to a couple of people, then I'll be mind-based. So I'm not saying I'm perfect. It's a lesson for me. It's a training for me. It's a training ground for me. Where all the moment I'm also struggling to keep it down to the heart and down to the heart. Because that is how we will eventually make it, by practice. So I wish to share this, not like a teacher or anyone, just like a seeker on the path. I am also moving on the path, and I know there are many out there moving on the path. So it should help. It should help all of us. And what better joy if this video gives you some help. So again, going back to it's all from the heart. Being more focused here. Now it's very difficult when people say, how is that possible? I don't understand these things. For me also it was that way. But if you keep your attention here on the heart, and everything you see and do, think and send the vibes from here, send the feel from here, send the love from here, send the light from here, and see everything in from here. Put your eyes here, put your brains also here, and think from here. And slowly certain things will develop, and when it develops, it gives you some insights, very powerful insights, and that is your conviction. When that starts working, you know there is something. Like right now I'm talking something with conviction. So that conviction you hold on and then keep on practicing, because sadhana is not just meditation. I tell my friends, it's every day, every moment, living up to every teachings. You got to keep on adapting, learning, practicing. So hope this helps. Again, from my heart, lots of love, lots of divine love and divine. That's why I say divine love and divine light, because both of these, the divine light also comes from the Christ consciousness, and the light also comes from the Christ consciousness. So I've made that an expression of my life, so that it remains always from the heart. So much love to you, much divine love and divine light to you. Stay blessed.